back to our first moment when we were joking about Rudy and Notre Dame. The thing that's really cool about that movie that I did is that it celebrates the last guy on the bench.
Yes.
It says you've got this incredible institution that has lots of money and mythology and quality and everything that the University of Notre Dame represents. But they embraced us telling this story of the last guy on the bench. So I like that we're in a moment in America where, it's a struggle between the truth. Tom Hanks just gave the commencement address of my daughter's Harvard graduation, and the sweet spot of his remarks had to do with protecting the truth, and we have to. We're at a moment in American life where, because of how things were for a number of years, people want it. They want to protect the little guy. They want to acknowledge the working people. Jolie said at the beginning, Biden has a bust of Chavez on the back of his desk in the Oval Office. We're in a moment where labor is appreciated. At any moment, there's like 1,000 labor actions. At least this was true 6 months ago. I don't know. I haven't looked at it lately, but there are labor actions going on all over the country every day. So, I know that in some of our imagery that we put out to support things, we invoke some of that great revolutionary strike stuff. And I want to find the balance between that and the fact that as laborers, we can be pro profit. If you have good people working really hard on something, it's going to make more money than if you squeeze it and make it with people who aren't necessarily as good. So there's going to be more capitalism to go around if you protect the worker. This is my premise.
I think it's an excellent premise.
Well, that's the truth for overall. When working people have disposable income, everybody does better. That's the whole point. That's why the people at the top are not understanding that their capitalism is imploding, because pigs get fat and hogs get slaughtered. And they're at a point now where they just are not willing to share. And they don't realize that it's what keeps the top sustained is when the bottom people can actually spend money.
Which also doesn't really make a lot of sense logistically. These are not long-term thinkers. Okay. These are not like, really advanced thinkers. These are let's make money now.
The system is not a long-term system.
No. Thank you, Sean. It's the system that's broken, and people do not talk about that enough. They think that, we can, throw Trump against the wall. We can throw DeSantis against the wall. Look, the system is broken. And people like this get born out of it. When people are squeezed so tight that they can't breathe, what do you expect them to do? They're not just going to stand around and wait for it. They're going to fight back, disrupt the system.
Yes, we need a revolution.
Frances giving a shout out to her very good friend, Marianne. Of course, that is a great line.
Revolution, a nonviolent revolution.
Yes, but it's absolutely.
It's the system that needs to be disrupted in our country, and it's also the system that needs to be disrupted in our industry.
Yes.
It's the same thing.
Yep.
This trickle-down idea does not work, and people have got to get off that because it's unsustainable.
One of the greatest films ever made was a film that had almost no budget whatsoever. And it's just two men in a coffee shop in New York City having a conversation called My Dinner with Andre. And you are never going to see a movie like that made today and promoted heavily by the studios, whether it's Paramount, whether it's DreamWorks. They are not going to make a movie like that because the message of that movie is to make you think. That is not what they want today. What they want, and I have nothing against Robert Downey. I have nothing against Jeremy Renner. If you want to keep making Marvel movies where you just blow a bunch of shit up all day, every day, but there's no real character development in what you're selling, I do think
there's action figures.
But you got to promote. You got to make money.
There's character development in those movies, but they shouldn't be the only thing.
No. I agree. And I do think that the thought-provoking type of movies, I wish we had more of that. Now, do you guys think that there's a reflection in what has happened with the Writers Guild, how they've been just completely undermined, that writing is not the same that it once was? Do you think there's any correlation there as far as that's concerned?
I don't understand your question.
Meaning that because the industry has been just so undermined that they are trying to cut out the legs.
Basically, it seems like somebody's run out of ideas, and all we keep saying are like superhero sequels.
I think it's the opposite.
Over and over and over again.
I think it's the opposite. I think that particularly in kind of hour drama television, and now in these like 5-year, 5-season shows on the streaming things where you can go into it and you can live in it for 5 years or for whatever 30 episodes. I think there's more than enough. In fact, one of the hard things is when you have so much good talent and so many good ideas, they can just take the pick of the litter and not pay anybody. So we got to sort of be like, hey, we're going to protect our people who have good stuff going on.
Yeah. Oh, I think there's amazing stuff. Like I find all sorts of cool stuff out there. And a lot of it is stuff that isn't from here. I don't, there's so many good things that streaming has allowed that gives people access to. And that's a good thing, as long as the people are being compensated for it accordingly. Like I like the variety.
I think that we have to pray, if that's something that you do or whoever you do it to, that we come into like a renaissance after this, that beautiful pieces of art, paintings, theater and film and television come from, out of a dark period. During the plague, Shakespeare wrote great tragedies and comedies, and that there is a renaissance coming, that the writers are standing firm on walking the picket line, and if we have to do it, we will too. But our series of thoughts and things like that don't end. I'm thinking of something I can write right now. Like I feel like we have to hold back the dawn a little bit and know that we're always going to be creative humans. We're always going to have new thoughts and new feelings, and we want to move people. And just to get back to the AI thing, it doesn't move anybody. That doesn't move anybody. When I see it on screen, I'm like, I'm watching what a computer generated. I want to see stories. I want to see me reflected on screen. I want to see my family and my friends and what I'm going through in my life reflected on the screen. And if I need to write it, I'll write it. I'm not a WGA writer, by the way. But I know those people on those lines, and I know what they're fighting for, and I know how clever they are and just how talented they are. And I feel the same way about our group. I mean, I think that we're fighting to stay in this in a big, beautiful way, not to let it go. Disappear.
Yeah.
Grasp. Yeah.
I would say that it's taken a long time for civilization to respect the artist, and we're not going to let it go backwards.
Yeah. Well, I'm an art lover and I'm an art wannabe. And I can say, though, my greatest contribution to date is I have birthed a musician. I have created a musician that is on this planet. Exactly.
And he is a hell of a piano player.
Yes, he is. And so that is my contribution to the arts. Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.